I am so excited about making this presentation because anytime I put a presentation together, my objective is to provide people some learning, provide people some information that typically they will not find elsewhere. Not to say that everything I'm going to talk about here is absolutely unique, but I think in my mind right now, there's nothing more important for you to focus on than create a very strongly positive image on the screen of the person that's going to interview you. And this is what I'm going to focus on today. The presentation is not long. I wanted to give, I deleted many slides that I had originally on because I want to leave as much time as possible for you to participate. You will learn something definitely from being here today, but you will learn so much more by having skin in the game, by asking questions, by listening to what I say or perhaps other people answer. This is how we learn. So again, the topic today is how to build rapport in a video interview. Very important topic. So there are two types of video interviews. On the left, you see it's with the human, and that can be one-on-one or that can be a panel interview. You know what that is, but worse than that is the interview with the computer. And this is reality. Today, applying for a job is very easy, very easy. You find an opening, you fill out a form, you click apply, and they get your information. Guess what's happening at their end? They simply don't have the manpower to deal with it. So now they are buying some software, and here is what's happening. You apply for a job, very easy. There is no person at the other end to look at it. Please don't think there is somebody, when you click apply, somebody at the other end receives it and opens it. They don't open it. It goes into a database. And automatically, once you apply, automatically you get a response from them, something like, thank you so much for applying. Here is our procedure. We will have a series of interviews. We will send you a link. This link will be for you to interview initially, very briefly, with the computer. We will evaluate and we will reply. And once that happens, this is what you get. You get something like on the right side. And this is how it looks like. Now, take a good look at this. We are now on the page 6 of them collecting such interviews. People interview, they send click, it's collected at their end, and the team is going to start reviewing these very short interviews. These are probably 5 to 10 questions, let's say a minute and a half or 2 minutes each, and it is just collected on their screen. Then the team is going to review those that they like. They make a decision, they will listen to it, and they will give 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars. At the end, it's likely they will go through all of them that have a high ranking, and then they will decide which one they really want to review further. And by the way, this process is identical to what recruiters are doing. Recruiters are not reviewing every resume someone or everybody sending them. And this is what companies do. So they will select a few, and then if they like what they see, they will rate you here, and then probably they will invite 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those that they consider worthy of further pursuing. So this is really the picture. I wanted you to have a kind of a picture. What is happening in an interview? There is only one opening and several people compete for that opening. So I want to ask you a question. As a candidate, which one of the following is the most important in an interview? I gave you 7 options here. What is what you need to do in an interview? Do you have to charm them? Do you have to inspire them, sway, perhaps impress, pressure them, convince them, sell them? I want some input from you. What do you think? Which is the most important in an interview? Okay, somebody says convince.
Yep, the results are coming up in chat.
Impress,
Here they come.
Convince, charm. You can unmute yourself if you want to say something. Impress, inspire, sell, convince. Okay, we really have a variety. Sherry said sell. All of the above. Michael Kaplan, Philip, plead. Okay. Okay, let me tell you what I think. Terry, hi Terry, nice to see you. Oh, shy, make a personal connection. Okay, let me tell you what I think it is. Influence. The answer is influence. Let me tell you what this means. Let's make sure that when I say the word influence, we mean exactly the same thing. The definition of influence is having an effect on a person's behavior. So let's understand that is the word influence. And for this presentation, I selected 3 ways to influence. There are more, there are probably 5 or 6, but I wanted to focus on 3. In a video interview, you can rationally influence them, you can emotionally influence them, and your behavior can influence them. So let's get one into every single one. Let's talk about the rational influence. You communicate with them, you impress them, you influence them by your skills. Actually, it's very likely this is why they want to talk with you. There is a saying in my business, we select for skills, we hire for personality. So yes, it's very likely skills is what got you in. Your title is impressing them. You were a senior vice president in a large corporation. Perhaps you have some advanced academic degrees in their areas of interest. Perhaps your past employers impressed them. You worked for 3 Fortune 100 companies in the past. Of course, your accomplishments are impressive. So all these fall under the rational influence. The next one is the emotional influence. Your brand is influencing them. By the way, do you think you have a brand? Yes, you do. Hopefully, it's a good one. Your culture. Let's say you came from a company that has a certain culture. I remember reading that Jack Welch had a practice by which a General Electric, every year, 10% of the bottom-rated employees were let go. Okay, that's a culture. Your reputation is impressive. Hopefully, you demand prestige. You are an authority. You publish a lot. You speak a lot. Their perception of you, perception is reality. And even religion, I'm not going to get into it, but even your religion may influence them. Assume you're a Sikh, you're from India, and you wear a turban. You don't need to explain to them what is your religion. And that can impress them, hopefully very favorably. And the last one is behavioral influence. The handshake, which, by the way, we don't do anymore, definitely not on a video interview. But your looks, do you think your looks impresses them or influences them? Definitely. The way you dress, your attire, do you think your age is influencing them? Let me answer to that. Yes. Your communication style, your approach, your cover letter, your thank you letter, everything, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, also your body language very, very much influences them. I have several slides later on talking specifics about body language. But these are the 3 behaviors that are a part of the decision-making process. So let me ask you guys a question. Which of the three influencers is the most prevalent? Yeah, put it in the chat or unmute yourself. Which one of the three? Logical, rational, which one? Emotional? I don't see anybody answering.
Emotional, I would say.
Okay. David said emotional. Okay. We'll see in a minute what I think. Okay, rational. Okay, just write in what you think. Behavioral, logical. Alan said behavioral. Okay, behavioral, good. John, emotional to make decision, yeah. Okay, let me tell you what I think, okay? Gary says behavioral. Heavily on emotions. Yeah, that's the right answer. Not to say that the others are not influential, but I really believe the emotional is probably the most important one. So let's talk about how are hiring decisions made. And my clear answer to that is more on what they see than what they hear. People are influenced way more what they see than what they hear. And by the way, they will remember way longer what they see than what they hear.
Alex, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Now, when we talked about, or you identified rational, emotional, and behavioral, and the hiring decision, do these factors change between a full-time employment versus a contract assignment?
You know, I could argue that the answer is yes. I'm sure yes. I'm not, my background is certainly not psychology. And again, everything I express here is my opinion based on my reading and learning and so forth. It's only an opinion, but I think the answer is yes. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sure several of you have heard about Professor Mehrabian, UCLA Professor Emeritus in psychology, and he had a statement, he's very often quoted, and he said 55%, that's more than half of communication has to do with body language. And that is very easy to prove. Absolutely. Body language influences us very much so. By the way, how early in our life we start learning and communicating and using body language? I want people to answer to that. That's not a difficult question. So what do you think? How early, how young are we when we already use body language? Infancy, baby, okay, we're getting closer. Baby means what? How early in our life? Can somebody be more specific? 3 years, 1 year, day one. David, you're getting closer in the womb. Yeah, okay, possibly, yeah. Let me tell you what I think. 1 or 2 months old, says Joe. Let me tell you what I think. 20 minutes. 20 minutes after you're born. Let me ask you a question. Do you think you could communicate 20 minutes after you are born that you're hungry? Do you think you communicate your desire to eat with your mom? I'm sure. Absolutely. And do you think you could communicate with your parents when your diapers were full? Yeah. So we learn how to use our body language and whatever, voice or whatever, Yeah. And from there on, we just add knowledge and layers of knowledge on and on and on. We are very good. We are very good deciphering the intent of the other party. And I point this out because remember, the topic today is video interviewing. So you may communicate a lot with the person interviewing you, not through the words that you say, but through your body language. So here are some examples of emotional decision. One, fear. If I'm not making a decision now, I'm toast. Fear pushes you to make a decision. Envy. If I don't make a decision now, my competition will win. Yeah, no, that's not right. I need to make a decision. Pride. If I make a decision now, I will look smart, so I want to make a decision. Shame. If I don't make a decision now, I will look stupid. No, I don't want to look stupid. Okay, so what to do in a video interview? So we started very wide and we're kind of narrowed down the topic. What to do in a video interview? Establish emotional connection. Very, very, very important. It's easy to build rapport with people you like. If you are impressing them that you are like one of us, you're friendly, you're smiling, you blend harmoniously into our team, that's a very, very attractive part of the decision-making process. I found this somewhere and I love it. We hire people that we know, we like, and we trust. The know comes in from people talked about you, people recommended you. I saw your LinkedIn profile, I saw your resume, I feel that I know you. I want to invite you to my office so I get to know you better. Hopefully I like you. You are that person that's inviting, you know, and I like you. What can I say? I do like you. And very important, I need to trust you. If they are not able to establish with you this chemistry and through that the trust, the likelihood is that you will not be hired. So very, very important factor in the decision-making process. So let's focus a little bit on body language in a video interview. Okay, look at these pictures. Nonverbal communication reveals a person's true feelings, thoughts, and intentions. If I were to ask each of you to write 2 sentences, not more, 2 or 3 sentences on every single one of these 5 people, I have no question in my mind, you will be able to do it. Because every person in this picture communicates something, and you have the tools and the knowledge how to summarize it in 2 or 3 sentences. So my point here is, yes, we make a lot of impressions on the other party just based on what they see. So I want to ask you, what do you think? Unfortunately, the screen, it's blocking me a little bit, so I don't know what it says there. So what is she thinking? Can anybody tell me? Based on what you see here, what do you think this lady is thinking? Please put in the chat or unmute yourself and say. Yeah, oh my God, yeah. Anything else? Yeah, Michael Kaplan, good, I blew my opportunity. Something on the remote channel, yeah. What have I done? Yeah, it's question. You see, I think there is a common motif here. Let me tell you what I think. I'm not sure if it's going to work out for me. Right? I hope you agree with me, or you may have other opinions. Yeah, worries, Gary. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. What is she thinking? Again, clear message here via this picture. So either get into the chat or unmute yourself. What is she thinking if you interview this lady? Yes. Yeah. Serious and possibly worrying. Yeah. That's Maureen. Michael, Effie, I hope they like me. I'm starting to get ready. Yeah. Yeah. Her expression is communicating something clearly. This is what I say. Oh, no, I'm not good enough for this job. It's clearly the body language is not something very positive. Yeah. Unsure of herself. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So let's take one more example. What is she communicating? I mean, look at her facial expression. What is she communicating here? Yeah. Oh God, Mike. Yeah. Surprised with something. Yeah. Clearly surprised. I agree. Startled. Yeah. Maureen. Michael, surprised. Disbelief. Yeah. I can't believe. They put on the resume. Absolutely, Michael. Absolutely. You're spot on. Surprise. Maybe good or bad. True. Okay. So let me tell you what I think. This is shocking. That's my opinion. Look at the facial expression. Very, very clear. It's a question. She has a question and she doesn't have an answer. So again, my point is here, we can communicate and we are communicating it when you are communicating so much during the interview, just with the very slight facial expressions. What is this lady saying? I think this is the last example. Okay. Any input?
Enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yeah. Confidence. We're on track, right? That's Maureen. Yeah. Anybody else? Enjoying the conversation. Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Alan, at ease. Get eye contact. Confidence. Is approachable. Yeah. Engaged. Happy to get closer to getting an offer. Yes. Okay. Let me tell you my interpretation. Not that I am better than you. I just told them the truth. Would you agree with me that, if you say, well, I just told them the truth, something like that. This is something that I would do. Okay, so let's move on. Now, I want to spend a minute or two on this slide only. Where is your focus when interviewing? I want to hear from you, and then I'll tell you my opinion. I really want to make a strong point here. When you interview, where is your focus? Where is your brain? What are you focusing on? So please unmute yourself or share with us the picture of the screen. No, when you are interviewing, where is your head? To look at the person interviewing me, eye contact, okay? Should be on the interviewer. Okay. Well, not what should be on the camera. Okay. Let's wait for one or two more and then I'll tell you what I think. I always look in the eye, yeah? Okay. Let me tell you what my opinion is. And this is where the problem is. Look, I deal with this every single day with my clients. And this is something very difficult. Your focus is on what is your next sentence. You are so focused on content. They ask me a question. I'm in an interview. One or more people are looking at me. I really need to give them a good answer. This is where your focus is. Do you agree with me? Please say, do you agree with me that when you are interviewing, your head is focusing on giving them a good answer? Do you agree with me? Okay, people say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, where are they, where is their focus? On you, be more specific. Yes, on your body language. Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's my point. You are focusing on how should I give a good answer. They are not focusing on that. They are focusing on what they see. They are focusing on your body language, and they are trying to interpret that. Now, here is where interview mastery comes in. Think about the interview as a Broadway performance. You are on Broadway, you are on stage, and hundreds of people are watching you. Broadway is not a recording studio. Broadway is stage, and you're performing. So if you are an opera singer or a performer, it's not only the content, the words that you say are important, but your performance. Are you smiling? Are you crying? Are you singing? Are you turning? Are you dancing? What is what you're doing? Because the audience are watching you perform, not only what you say and what you sing about. So consider yourself going for an interview and you are a performer on Broadway. And this is where the difficulty comes in. You prepare for an interview, you try to anticipate and prepare in your own head what is the right answer, and you're so focusing on your answer that your body language is not with you at all. This is where mastery of interviewing comes in. Once you're able to control both, not only the content, but also the impression you make on them visually, then you become good. In stressful situation, pacifying behavior is a reaction to something said. Examples are frowning or looking away. Look at the picture in the lower right-hand corner. Do you think this lady is bored with the guy that sits in front of her? I don't think so. I think he must have asked a question or said something, and this is her reaction to what he said. The lady on the left, do you think she's just sitting there because she's bored? Probably not. Probably this body language says it is a reaction to something that happened. Compressed lips indicate that someone is in trouble here. Damn it, I made a mistake. I don't need to hear what he says. I can tell from the body language. And she is not impartial to this. She is also reflecting doubts and disbelief and displeasure. So do you see how much we communicate with our visually, with our body language? Staring at a person makes them uncomfortable. Sign of insecurity and nervousness. We know how to interpret that clearly. Now, I want to ask people what they think here. What is the meaning here? You know, some body language behavior or whatever we show may be interpreted differently by different people and different culture. I don't want to discriminate here, but I have the feeling that men react to this differently than women. Men may view in this a very positive act on these people. And by the way, you can smile because I say what I said with the sense of humor here. Okay, so what do you think? Please answer. What do you think is expressed here? Okay, oh no, different opinion. Okay. Anybody else? Why? You don't have the courage to say anything. Erkis, yeah. Anything else? Keep going, keep going. Okay. Okay. Ain't buying it. Okay. Okay, so let me tell you what I think is happening here. I am not sure. I asked women to interpret this for me, and this is what they told me. This facial expression said, I'm not sure. Clear sign of stress. Again, it's likely they will not see this in a video interview, but if you happen to point the camera in a way that they see your hands, and this is what you do, you clearly communicate stress.
Excuse me, Alex.
Yeah.
We have a question. We have a question. It's from
Please.
Effie. Is there a behavioral difference between men and women in an interview? And Effie, if you want to expand on it, you can unmute. So is there a behavioral difference between men and women in an interview?
I'm not sure if I'm competent to answer to this because, I have some basic superficial, some knowledge about this. I can argue yes, and I can argue no. I'm working with people all the time, and I can see excellence in men and excellence in women and opposite in both of them. I'm not sure if I can say clearly one gender versus the other is better. I can say this, a kind of a general statement. Men are more forthright, more demanding, more direct, more clear. Women are more contemplative, thinking. They take emotions into account when they answer. That would be my answer. Okay, so if possible, sit squarely facing the monitor. Again, you communicate a lot what they see, because right now I'm facing the monitor. How do you feel? Let's say I'm interviewing you and I kind of sit like this. Okay, you can interpret my body language based on what you see on the screen. If panel interview, don't move your head in the middle of a sentence. Talk to one person at a time. You may have a panel interview and it may be that it's spread a kind of around. Don't move your head to the person visibly. If you can, just move your eye and talk to one person at a time. Do not move in the middle of the sentence. Looking at the skies is a sign that you are searching for an answer. If you were to ask me a question, David asked me a question, Alex, what did you have for breakfast?
Alex, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
For breakfast? Do you see? I mean, it's very, very easy to interpret my answer. Oh, I don't know. Let me see. Perhaps in the sky I will find it. Okay, let's do one more, David. David, ask me the same question one more time, and let's see if I can demonstrate something here.
Hey, Alex, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I rotated my eyes. How do you guys interpret this? Anybody? Why is it so quiet? Yeah, it was a silly question. Yeah, what a stupid question. Why is he asking me this? Okay, David, ask me one more last time with the same question.
I expect you to answer it this time, Alex. Alex, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
This morning, this is called shifty eye. I move my eye to left and right. How do you interpret my behavior or what you see on your screen? Okay, no answers? Uncomfortable? Yeah, trying to remember what is asking me this. Yeah. Also, you know what else is hidden here? Perhaps deceit. I'm not going to tell you the truth. I don't want to tell you. I ate a lot of bacon, David, this morning. I don't want to tell you the truth. So I'm a kind of, shifting my eyes. So these are some behaviors that many people do, and the other party knows very well how to interpret. So all I'm telling you, watch your body language, because you communicate way more in an interview, a video interview, than the words that you say. Okay, I stop here, and then I have a few more questions and we are done. Any general questions based on what we talked so far?
So you're welcome to unmute and just introduce yourself, or you can leave it in the chat and we'll address it that way.
Hi, this is
Alex,
Kat.
very much.
Luis, I hear that you talked, but I didn't get what you said because somebody else was. Okay, say it one more time, please.
Alex, I'm sorry, Kat. Should you always be looking directly at your camera, though, when you are interviewing virtually?
I get this question all the time. I'm telling you, unless you are a professional national television anchor person, you will not be able to. You see, right now I'm looking at the camera. It's impossible for me to keep looking at the camera. I can't. I need to look at people. I need to look at you guys on my screen. And this is close enough to the camera. By the way, when you see right now, I'm looking at you, Luis. Does it seem to you that I'm looking at you, or I'm looking in a different area? I couldn't hear what you said. Unmute yourself. Okay.
The picture is a little small, so it's hard for me to see.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Okay. So that's the wrong question. Okay. Yeah, all I'm saying is a very, very, very difficult. People that are reading the evening news, they have a significant size teleprompter and they read the news. It is absolutely impossible just to look at an object. You need people. We are used to see interaction and reaction of people.
Alex, this is Julie. If on my computer, I don't see when you and David are talking, I don't see your mouths moving. I just see sort of a frozen picture. Is that my internet provider? Is that my computer? How would I make that better for an interview?
David, that's for you.
So the answer is it's likely on your side, in my opinion, but without knowing your setup, I wouldn't know. Maybe you're using a slow internet connection or DSL rather than a high speed, which would mean less data can transfer. Or maybe you're using your Wi-Fi and that's not very efficient. You might try connecting a wire to the router and your computer. So it's more likely on your side because on my experience, I see people moving a little bit, and so I don't think it's the platform or the service in this case.
So I would attach my laptop. I would go a laptop. I'd put a wire directly to the router to where the internet box is.
I don't know what you mean by detach, but there's a.
No, attach. I would have a wire.
Okay, so yeah, so there's a kind of cable that a lot of computers have, and actually a lot of them are doing away with them now, unfortunately, but it's called an Ethernet. It looks like those old phone cables, but they're a little wider. The clip's a little wider. One end goes into the router and one end goes into your computer. And that would eliminate the Wi-Fi connection. You'd have what we call a hard wire connection. The difference between a cordless phone and a wired phone, it's kind of the same thing. If it's still slow, it could be your internet service. So, if you have an older DSL, which some people still do have, it moves less data through the line, so the picture sometimes freezes. If you have a slower service, slower megabits versus more megabits, that may affect it as well.
And I could call Verizon to find out about my internet speed, right?
You can ask them. Yeah, there are programs where you can test it. Julie, let's see the talk offline about this, or contact Verizon or your provider, so we can really focus a bit more on the topic at hand.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, I think I've given you, I hope I've given you enough at least to move forward with getting some improvements.
Oh, yes, you have. Thank you.
Yeah, and check chat in a moment. What I'm going to do, I'm going to look for a speed test website where you basically put it in. It will also tell you how fast. So I'll put that in a moment in the chat.
Thank you.
I got a question. Hi, Alex, can you hear me? This is Amit
Yes.
Gray.
Yes, Amit. Yes, Amit.
So the question is slightly different. I'm dealing with an interviewer who invites me on Zoom, but doesn't get on the video. So should I stay on video? If I do, I mean, how do you deal with such an interviewer?
Okay, do I understand right? The interview on Zoom, but then they are not on video, but you are, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I got on
Very
video because I was, go ahead.
Very unpleasant occurrence because you expect them to be also. Pretend that they are there. If they ask you to be on Zoom, we are talking about the visual. Otherwise, it could be done over the phone. Why do you need Zoom when you can use,
Exactly.
the telephone very well?
Exactly.
The question is this. Let's say they invite you on Zoom, you appear, and they don't appear, but you can hear them. The question is, would it be appropriate to say, Mr. Johnson, you may have some technical difficulties. Are you going to be on a Zoom video or not? I think it's proper to ask that. I don't see anything negative, but I'm asking you guys to tell me, do you think that's appropriate? Because it's only my opinion. What do you guys think?
Alex, this is Effie. I did have an interview and I asked the exact question. Well, why is it that you could see me, but I can't see you? And the person honestly just came out and said because he prefers not to. And I respect that. And the interview went on. So I think it's more of a personal preference as well. I mean, it may be a policy of the company, but actually it didn't bother me. I just continued being myself, answering the questions. And to your point, yeah, I acted like there was a person there, even though he was talking through. But yeah, I took that advice and it worked.
This I find it a little unfair, but remember, they control the process, not you.
Right. And just to add to that, Alex, just to give you a data point, there are multiple people on that call. So from my perspective, the visual, I'm trying to, and I obviously can't do eye contact, so I try to stay on the camera. But it was challenging.
Sam said, don't make an issue of it, and I think he's right. Yeah, unfortunately, pretend that it doesn't bother you, and I know it does.
Yeah.
Alex.
Thank you.
Alex, my thought on it is a little bit different. I mean, I guess you have to go ahead with it, but from my point of view, if an interviewer does that, it means they've got something to hide. Is the way
Could be. Again, clearly, you are a disadvantage. It's very unpleasant if you are on camera and they are not. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot that you can do. Just pretend like they are there. There's nothing you can do. Any other question? We will have again at the end more questions. So let's move on. Okay, so what not to do in a job interview? Appear unprepared. And I have seen that before. You invite somebody to your office and it's blatantly clear that they did not spend a lot of time preparing for it. And when I touch base on some obvious things, they seem surprised. That's not very good. We don't recite your resume. The question is, so tell me about yourself. And then every so often people that really don't know how to properly answer this question, they go all the way back when they were 22 and they graduated from Oklahoma University, and it goes on forever reciting your resume. That's not a good answer. They already know your resume. It's not about do you remember and can you recite it. Share your life story. Again, when I work with people and say, tell me about yourself, I hear very long stories. Some of the information is so peripheral, I don't need to know how many dogs you have. Not initially. Talk about anything that may seem irrelevant. Stay focused. Remember one thing. You focus on your past, they focus on their future. So it is a gap. Your job is to take your past and catapult it or propel it into their future. Create a picture in their mind. What will life be if they hire you in the future?
Alex, so when they ask you about, tell me about yourself, what do you think about coming back with something like, is there any particular part you'd like me to focus on?
Well, yeah, that's a very good trick, but an experienced interviewer will not ask that. Because what is the objective of the tell me about yourself? They know already a lot about you. What is the objective about tell me about yourself? They want to assess you, what's called the first impression. Do they like you? Are you communicating clearly? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you have an accent?
Yes, though, what percentage of your interviewers are going to be experienced? 5, 10, maybe?
That are experienced what? Answering this?
Well, you said the experienced interviewers will know what to do. I'm just saying the common wisdom is most of them don't know what to do.
Yeah, of course. You know, if I interview you and you do this to me, Alex, what particular area would you like me to focus on? I will say, it's your judgment, whatever you wish.
Okay, but you're experienced. Most of us are facing people who aren't.
Well, they may be saying, I'm very concerned about your lack of knowledge about A, B, C, D.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, this slide is primarily for me because I'm known to be long-winded. So, you know, you can disregard it unless you are like me. But again, no, jokingly, don't be long-winded. Sometimes they are polite and they will listen, but after 2 minutes, they're bored with you. I think this is my last slide. Let me see. Yes, it is. Okay.